Okay, the next step in our trig thing is to solve right triangles. Now you did some of this in geometry, and that's okay. This is just going to continue on with that. It's kind of a review, so that should go fairly quickly. But in our case, solve means find all the missing parts. So not everything is going to be found. Now, things that we can use. We can use the sine of an angle. We can use the cosine of an angle. We can use the tangent of an angle. Remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Remember SOHCAHTOA. Remember, we just practiced, or well, I just did a video on practicing finding values on your calculator. If you did not watch that video yet, don't panic. We'll walk through those steps here just to kind of help you out, and hopefully you'll be okay with that. But find all the missing parts. The other thing we can use is our good old friend Pythagoras. Okay, Pythagorean theorem. And the Pythagorean theorem always says that side squared, so a squared, plus side squared, b squared, is hypotenuse squared. But that only works if we have a right triangle. So these are right triangles, and they only work for right triangles. So be prepared for that. All right, all of these are right triangles, so you don't have to worry. Okay, so just a couple of things to review. First of all, capital letters means I'm talking about an angle. A lowercase letter means I'm talking about a side length. Okay, and just so we can be consistent, we're going to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, just so that we can be consistent. Okay, so again, we can do things with this. For example, now D is our right angle, and we know that because of the little box in the corner. Okay, so D, this is our hypotenuse. Okay, and then this is either opposite or adjacent depending on which angle I'm at. So I would say that the sine of E is little e over D. I would say the cosine of angle E is F over D. I would say the tangent of E, and I'm only sticking with sine, cosine, and tangent because those are the ones I can do with my calculator. Tangent would be E over F. If I'm standing at angle F, I would say that the sine of F is F over D. I would say that the cosine of angle F is E over D. And I would say the tangent of angle F is F over E. Now, those are just reviewing so that we don't get confused. And then if I'm doing Pythagorean theorem, I would say that E squared plus F squared is D squared. Just some helpful things to keep us going in the right direction. So remember, the hypotenuse is always opposite this angle. Okay, and we always know we have a right angle or right triangle in that scenario. Okay, so I have two problems here. So I'm going to leave this kind of like this if I can. Okay, and we can see that we're missing side D. So we need to find that. We are also missing the measure of angle E and the measure of angle F. So here, oh, I know what else. Well, we'll get that in a minute. Okay, so what do I know? Well, I know the other two sides. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate what D is. And I'm going to do that using my Pythagorean theorem. So E squared plus F squared equals D squared. Using my math, 15 squared plus 8 squared is D squared. Well, 15 is 225, and 8 squared is 64. So 289 is D squared, so D must be 17. Now, 17 is an exact number, and that's a good thing, because when it's an exact number, we can continue to use it. If it doesn't come out to an exact number, if we round to it, we cannot use it again. We have to stop using it unless we have no other choice. All right, so what do we want to find next? We need to find angle E or angle F. I don't care which one you pick, but if I start through my list and I start with angle E and I say the sine of E is 8 over 17. Can I solve that? You know, that was really bad of me. That is 15 over 17, not 8 over 17. 15 over 17. Can I do that? Well, I can. I know how to solve that, because all I have to do is take my calculator then, and I would do 15 divided by 17. So the sine of E is let me make sure I'm reading that right, 8823, and some other stuff. And what we learned in the video was we simply hit second sine of that number, hit enter, and it tells me that angle E is 61.9 degrees. Again, we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so 61.9 degrees. Now, if we remember anything about geometry, we remember that 180 degrees makes a triangle. My right angle is 90 degrees, so I have 90 degrees left. And of that 90 degrees, 61.9 of them are an angle E. So how many are left for angle F? 90 minus 61.9 leaves me 28.1. And that was how simple that one is. Not so tough. Let's try another one. Okay, I'm just going to use the calculator to cover that one up. All right, we know side F, we know side D, we do not know side E. So let's calculate it. Again, our Pythagorean theorem takes us where we need to be. So 1 squared plus E squared equals 2 squared. So 1 plus E squared is 4, so E squared must be 3. So E must equal the square root of 3, or approximately, and I'll just do that on my calculator, the square root of 3, 1.73205. Okay, we're going to round to the nearest tenth, so we would say 1.7. Now, we rounded there, so angle or side E is out of my calculations from this point on. Let's see if I turn this on. Will this make it a little better? Oh, it does. Let's leave that on. Okay, so E at a value of 1.7 is now out of my realm of possibilities because it's been rounded. So I start making my list. If I don't care which angle you use. If I use angle E, though, well, let's use F this time for the heck of it. Okay, if I do the sine of F, I get 1 over 2. Wait a minute, I can solve that. Because a half is 0.5, so second sine 0.5 tells me that F is 30 degrees. Well, if F is 30 degrees, and I have 180 degrees to start with, I take 90 out for the right angle, that leaves me 90. I take 30 out for angle F, that leaves me, 60 degrees for angle E. Not so tough. Let's do one more. I have one more here. Put my calculator on that side. I think we're good. All right, starting with what I know. I do not know side F. So I do know that E squared plus F squared equals D squared. So I know that 64 plus F squared, I don't know, 21 squared, 441. That's what I thought it was. Do a little math. F squared is 441 minus 64, or 377. I take the square root of both of them. I get F, again I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, 19.4. 19.4. It's rounded, therefore it's out of my realm of possibilities now for my calculation. So I can only use D and E. So I need to find either angle E or angle F. I don't care which you use, but I'm going to use F just to do something different. I'm going to say that the cosine of F is 8 over 21. So 8 divided by 21 gives me 0.38095 ... Second cosine of that number equals, I have angle F is 67.6 degrees. I have 180 degrees in my triangle. I take 90 out for the right angle. I take 67.6 degrees out, so 90 minus 67.6. And I have 22.4 degrees left for angle E. So F is 67.6 and angle E is 22.4. That is how we solve a right triangle.